What's going on? Kind of want to talk about like misinformation, disinformation, and fake news, man. So, I mean, it's the difference between distraction and diversion. You know what I'm saying? All right, misinformation means it's like false information, and it gets passed around, but people think they're doing the right thing because they think that's the right idea. You know what I'm saying? But disinformation is when that's intentionally wrong information that is like used to spin the narrative to kind of like convolute things so freaking bad. And I mean, there is so much fake news in so many different. I mean, that applies in so many different ways, man. It's kind of like that girl and her boyfriend that supposedly went missing and all that. I mean, is it if that was just a bunch of like actors, state actors, and it wasn't even. It was like some ulterior motive, or it was used as a diversion, not a. I mean, a distraction for some and for others, diversion, freaking, or just. But there's a strategic reason, you know, because that's like the magicians. They show you one hand and hide the other hand. You know, they pick your pocket with the other hand that you're not looking at. And it's like, for instance, with the fake news, right? They're showing photos that they're saying this today, soldiers meeting up at the rally point, and look, and then it shows a photo, but then you can see the digital footprint of the photo. It was like from 2016, and they're saying this is what's happening today over here in this foreign land. We need to do drastic measures immediately. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take drastic maneuvers immediately for continuity of government and international structure. You know what I'm saying? Something to that effect is going on. Somebody somewhere around that round table is we need to flood the zone with the fear porn and the disinformation campaigns. So, you know, they're doing this to each other right now. They're smearing, everybody's smearing. It's a narcissistic smear campaign, and they're literally recruiting flying monkeys and parentified enablers and status codependent types. You know what I'm saying? And they're even trying to subcontract outside help. Look, you never use outsiders for inside business. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way that this is working now, because it's the pretext, it's the problem, reaction, solution, freaking pressure from above and below, freaking so not only now the threat of these foreign countries attacking, but literally this is enough to cause also a kind of mini civil war potentially in our society with those that are connected to the left-right paradigm. Now, these people, it's obvious, man. Like, look, it's like, imagine if the outsiders could turn the insiders against one another through justice, through provocation. I mean, and what if these people were even to go so far as to pull off theaters to make it happen? You know what I'm saying? You know, freaking, that's kind of how that's how the fake news also works, man. Because literally, some of these things they're not even real. They're like psychological operations. And there's like, what is it, Smith Mutton Act or something, where they are allowed, like they passed a law that they can pull fake news and propaganda, like straight up they can use propaganda now. And because also that's so convoluted, because at the same time, if you know, like, look, you can't just release whatever you want in fear that you'll be revealing too much to the wrong people. But I mean, in the information age, it's impossible to keep stuff covered up very good for very long, dude. And also all these older ploys, man. Like, look, the incubator babies and the WMDs and freaking I don't know. Anyway, but look, these were pretexts and just kind of like well-engineered, pre-manufactured excuses to justify what their actions were. But in a way, it's kind of like, it's like when the police freaking, you come to the fucking buy, and you're buying from them. You give them the money, they give you the shit. You put it in the trunk of your car, and all of a sudden, look, fucking helicopters come with guys rappelling down on the hood of your freaking. Get down, get down. Look, they're setups, man, and it's like, or even worse sometimes. It's like when you get, like down in Tampa. They supposedly, everyone would be like, man, the cops planted that shit on me, and I guess they really did that shit. Like, look, if they knew they didn't like you, they would just mysteriously find some crack on you, and then look, that's a pretext. Now you got to tell it to the judge, and the judge is trained to, like, nope, look, you can't prove that, whatnot, freaking, and you can't unprove it. So look, just look, they could F your life. That's a big charge down in Florida. But there's a freaking, that's these disinformation and misinformation. You know what I'm saying? That's that's intentionally leaking some. That's a smear campaign. Freaking, that's a ad hominem situation where you're just kind of freaking just trying to just be dismissatory towards some real shit, and you're picking on the old freaking excuse. But look, that's the thing. In society, they've already given these people these excuses and scapegoats and like misdirections, man. Like, even with the word, this term conspiracy theory, the way that's somehow some kind of a derogatory term, and it's a pre-manufactured excuse to dismiss what you be saying to them. Like, look, like, be like, dude, they've been using propaganda and sublims and shit for like years. There's freaking patents. You can look it up, that it's real, that it really happened. They were freaking doing weird social and experiments on people through the freaking MK Ultra, and the same people that did this work in advertising, and they control the media, and they're freaking working through the media to employ some of the shit they learned from that era freaking on us out here. Like, where they're even using, like, intentional, the news and shit, be gaslighting you, dude. Like, look, it's just like everything, all these operations are like big gaslights. Like, look, dude, like, these people can do some elaborate tricks on us, because just keep talking about them and piss them off, and they'll mock you, dude. You know what I'm saying? They'll do some kind of mockery, look, to acknowledge that, yep, they got the message. You know what I'm saying? And look, they like that shit because they're sadists. They get off on our reactions. And so the misinformation and disinformation is meant to crack our psyche, get us into emotional desperation type thinking, where, like, look, when somebody, like, look, everybody's looking for the leader when they're in a panicky, desperate situation. So look, then these gatekeepers can step in, these handlers, and be like, I know what to do, because they manufactured and engineered your fucking your emotional kind of psychotic freaking temporary insanity. And I mean, this is just a natural thing that happens to people when you mind F them hard enough, when you grind them and ride them just a little too hard. Some people crack. Some people, some people's nut, it doesn't even take a whole lot to crack it. You know what I'm saying? Basically, dude. And that's, that stuff makes you get all emotional and shit. So you'll respond, you'll react, and you'll be hyper vigilant and overly defensive and hyper freaking reactive, and you'll be overly like freaking you'll take, it's like when people think this way, well, like when you challenge their belief and they take it like personal, like too personal, like look freaking that's prevalent out here. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. You know, I understand it. I mean, you gotta allow people, you know, draw their own conclusions, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell them how to live, and nor you shouldn't anyway, because it is a free country. It's supposed to be. So, like, look, you got to do unto others as done unto you. So it's kind of like it's crazy, because being a man in the middle without, you know, I ain't effing with the two wings of the bird. That's the political system around here, dude. Because it's to me, it's a big con job. You know what I'm saying? It's a big freaking, it's a big elaborate theater type of a situation, and it's like what they tell us about it. They're not giving us full disclosure, and actually, I never ever was offered a chance to consent to this sort of a setup. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're all assumed that we got to participate in, and this is just, look, it's weird. It's more like conditioning, dude, freaking, and social engineering. And it's monkey see, monkey do, part of the program, part of their training, their misinformation and disinformation campaign on us all, dude. Like, look, everything, their scientific freaking dictatorship is, you're on a need-to-know basis. It's like you have you like, basically they feel they have like intellectual property rights over their slaves. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like George Orwell. You're only supposed to say what they tell you to say, and everything else is in the memory hole. And they already got people already all freaking like almost there, man. Yeah, man. With the Ministry of Truth and all that, like that's who the censorship and the fact checkers and all this. It's been ridiculous, redundant hypocrisy, man, that we've been witnessing for in a massive disinformation campaign, which is even worse than miss is better than dis. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, but it's still bad, and that's hurting us too. And it's just, I don't know, it's not even so much, you can't teach somebody who already thinks they know everything, like they got it all figured out. Like, look, they lean on the mainstream narrative, and they don't really want to do much thinking for themselves, man. And it's like, look, and then they start investing a lot in that, man, and that's really like that's like mind control, brainwashing. It's Stockholm syndrome. It's weird. It's like it's like yeah, they don't know that how like jammed up and slaved up they are in the head, and how they don't think outside the box enough. And then I mean and also it's like, look, some people, they take it way too freaking far, and then they freaking go way off the other end of the spectrum of you know, believing too much everything freaking and there is a lot of, on the other end of this too, dude, and the people that we deal with, there's so much disinformation, misinformation. Like, there's so many fake lead stories they've obviously thrown out over the years, these red herrings, and sometimes we gobble that stuff up, and they're laughing at us, dude, because it's like, it was a psyop. They were fishing to see what we would say about it and how we would react and respond to it, and they probably were attacking us that day, trolling us on Facebook, and then you respond to this situation like really emotionally, you know what I'm saying? And look, they've been doing weird experiments freaking on through social media like this. Like, it's been admitted that there's been behavioral studies, you know what I'm saying? So it's like yeah, you always got to take everything with a grain of salt, you know, and then you got to do your own fact checking. Be your own fact checker. You know what I'm saying? Be your own researcher. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust what they tell you.